Everybody, it's Omar. It is February 13th, 2018, 7:49 p.m. in the evening, and I want to make a video talking about my watch list that I put together for tomorrow. I took the liberty of putting it together as opposed to just building a video putting it together. I think I may do that just on the weekends because it's just like time consuming, and the videos sometimes they could be too long. So I know a couple of people who told me they prefer that, but I know by the data that most people don't do it, don't watch them. So, I don't want to kill too much time by doing that. But, my watch list for today, let me pull up real quick. I'm not going to go over each play. I'll just go over like two. But let me pull up the watch list that I had for today. Guys, if you just go back and look at my videos over the last, since I've been posting them in January, I mean, every time I build a watch list, I mean, my accuracy is pretty deadly with entries. Now, the number one play, you can go back and watch the video yesterday, was gonna be IMGM, right? I gave you the day before yesterday. I gave you a killer play to take it long at that 920 level, and it hit a high of 1069. And this morning, what did it do? So we had some, and these were like the alerts that I had set. And look what happened. The market opened and this thing fucking tanked. I had an alert set at 1039 to buy the dip buy it or short the rejection. And right here you could have took it short, especially once it broke below the 200-day simple moving average. That's a clear bearish sign. That is very, very bearish. On the 1 minute time frame. On the 5 minute time frame it's still bullish, and on the 15-minute time frame it's still bullish. But on the 1 minute, it was bearish, and I mean, you could have took this down. Look, it broke a second. This was a second potential dip buy or short that we had set, that it said yesterday. Look at it, just continued to crack. So you could have got in right here if you wanted to be safe at 1039 and took this all the way down. This thing went down as far back as 948, so almost a full point you could have got on this, which is pretty nice. And look what happens, guys. Here, stock retraces back 38%. This is the 38% retracement on the Fibonacci. Remember, I love fibs and the way fibs work. Just to remind you guys here, without going into too much specifics, you take the trend, you look at the 2-day time period, and you take where the trend is either from the lowest point over the 2-day period to the highest point, or the highest point to the lowest point. And that also includes pre-market. So here it is. Here's the trend. You see, you don't see the white lines now because they're overlapping here. And you see, here's the trend right here, 1069. Look, and you got that retracement. So there's people taking profit taking all the way back to that 38% retracement, and then it's back up, and you could have dip bought it there. Now, just so you know, it's still in a bullish trend, because in theory, the way Fibonacci works is that once it breaks below the 61% retracement, that means all the profit taking it has happened. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with this. I didn't put it on the watch list, but it's actually worth putting on the watch list, to be quite honest with you, because if it can't hold this 947 tomorrow, this thing can potentially break down. And if it holds above this 1019 level, it could potentially fill the gap again. I didn't put it on the watch list, but for tomorrow. But you know what? I'll probably put it on after the fact. So yeah, so that was the one play, killer short. And there was a whole bunch of these. I had JNUG. I told you guys, look at this. What did I say? It's pretty remarkable, right? And you could see the video if you think I'm lying. All right, I said, right, if it holds 1342, right, and this one candle, it got to a low of 1335, but it hit a high of 1348, and it closed at 1348, and you could have took this long, and this thing won. I said dip buy it if it holds at 1342 level. And look, no coincidence. Look, it got all the way up to 1408. Retraced down right back to that 1342 level, and then took off again. Why? Because 1342, if we look at yesterday, that was a clear support level off the yesterday's high, because it got to a high yesterday of 1337, came back down, retraced, and held 1342. So that's a clear support level. Guys, that's all stock trading is about, support and resistance. And if we go to Market Watch, we can see all my triggers. Just so you see, here it is, 1342 buy dip, if at 1342 a short rejection. All right, it got triggered straight from the video. All right, and there were others, but just because I don't want to kill so much time, you know, make this too long, I'm not gonna go over each one. But you guys saw, and oh, the other big one that I talked about was Mitch, and look, it's holding its highs. 38.50. I told you if it could hold 38.50, take it long. Look where it's now at 39.66. All right, just to tell you, I mean, it broke below it, and I tell you, never buy the breakout. Always let it run and retrace and find a hold. So like right in here would have been a good buy. You know, it didn't hold, it came down, but if you notice, it's on this upward trend, and then once it broke above 38.50 again, you could have took another crack at it and took it, and it's off and running to the races. And you know, this thing just keeps going and going. It wasn't on my watch list for tomorrow. I didn't even look at it, but you know what, I'm gonna put it on because I mean, this stock, is due for a red day. I mean, it had 3 big green days. You gotta expect people to take profits. So maybe tomorrow's the day. Anyway, let's talk about tomorrow's trades. So I'm gonna pull it up. What I do, guys, is and I'm sorry, guys, I'm pretty tired. Long couple of days. So these are the stocks that I have on watch for tomorrow. There's a lot of ways to do it. I usually run a scan at night. I look for stocks anywhere between 10 cents and $40 that are up 30 or 300, at least 300,000 shares traded, up 5%. Sometimes I lower it down to 3%. But the market was hot today. You know, 114 stocks, I'm sorry, appeared. Also, you can go to FinViz. What I do is I go to FinViz, and in FinViz, I just go to where it says all. Price under $50, change from the open 3%, over 1 million shares traded, and then you click on charts, you click on candle, and then you can look at the candles here. I love these gap fills because you expect hopefully the gap to fill below, and you can take a short on them. So I look through these, and then I look at the charts to kind of get a sense of what I want to trade. So with that said, I already plotted out the support and resistance lines. POTN. Hey, I remember I've had this. This was on my watch list maybe 2 weeks ago. No, maybe over a week ago. And I had everybody buying this at like 50 cents. A lot of people made a lot of money on this stock. And if you notice here, guys, look what it look right. So you know the stock had a nice green day today. Okay. And look, I already plotted out the support and resistance lines. So very, very simple. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta fix this. Edit alert. Let's do this. Replace. It's supposed to say 69 cents. So, and I already had those. Buy breakout of hold 69 or short rejection. So what we want to see tomorrow is if the market, the Dow's hot, maybe it runs again tomorrow. If it breaks above 69, remember, you don't buy the breakout. You want to see it break above, pull back, and kind of hold that support. That's the clear breakout level, and that's when the smart buyers buy. You don't want to like buy when it breaks out and chase, because sometimes the stock will gap up, and then it'll just completely tank. So you want to see a gap above, pull back, hold it as support, and then start taking off, and that's when you buy, risking off the 69-cent level. All right, so that's one clear area. Now, maybe the market opens tomorrow, because currently this is at 64 cents. You know, maybe it pulls down to this support level here. And I'm sorry, guys, let me use the bigger. Yeah, make it easier for everybody to see. So, you know, maybe it pulls back down to this 62 level, you know, off the, you know, people taking some profit, hold, and then you can buy the dip. But if it breaks down below it, you can take a short, you know. And you can, you know, the next support level is 59.01. Maybe 59.01 will be the dip buy level. So maybe it holds support there. If it does, take it and run. All right, you could take it long. If not, you know, you stay short. The next support level is this 56 level. So if it gets down to 56.54, maybe this is where the dip buy is. All right. So these are the key levels. It got to hit one of these key levels in order for me to take a trade, guys. And that's all I do. That's all it is, guys. It's not rocket science, you know. And then I use these as guides: VWAP, the simple 50-day moving average, and the simple 200-day moving average. You know, that's what I've been using now. If you follow me on my page and watch my videos, you see my progression from the time I started a little over a year ago to now. I used to use like MACD and RSI and parabolic SA. I don't use any of that shit no more. You don't really need it, to be honest with you. Once you know how to read the charts and you see the volume and the price action, you don't really need all that. You know, I just use trend lines, support and resistance, and that's kind of how I make my trades. All right, so that's the first stock, POT, and we'll see if we get some volume. Maybe it breaks back above 69 cents, because if we look at the yearly, remember this stock got to all the way up to almost $1. Remember, it went on this crazy run. So it does, you know, it's done it before. There's none stopping it from doing it again, but it does have a gap to fill below. So, you know, maybe it sells off. Nobody knows, and that's why you plot out the support and resistance lines, so that you get a sense of where you potentially buy and sell. Next up, AQMS. AQMS is, all right, this is a stock that gapped up today. It's up 36%. I mean, it had a nice move. Here, let me put it on the big chart for you guys so you guys can see. All right, so you know, over the last, this stock was $1.42 2 days ago. It's up all the way at 324. So I have a key, all right, resistance level here, 324. So if it breaks above 324, pulls back and holds and starts running, I'm gonna take it long. If it breaks down, and I'm looking at that key support level here, which is 271. If it holds 271, I'll buy the dip. If it breaks below it, I may go short. Now, in theory, if you wanted to, this is the simple 200-day moving average. It looks like it's ready to go below it, which is a bearish sign. This is kind of like a support level here. This 290 level right here. What is it? 296 level. Technically, if it broke below it, you could kind of take it short. And especially if it breaks below VWAP. But these two levels to me are the clear levels that I'm looking at, all right, to potentially trade the stock. If it can't hold 271, look at this. You got about 50 cents of downside, I think, before it finds its next support level, which is right around here. You know, there is some, like right around this level, 229. So, I mean, if you could find the shares to short, you know, might be a great short tomorrow. And what you do is you go back and you look at the chart history. You know, you go over, like what I do is I look over the last year. This stock was at $22 at one point, and you know, it hasn't had a big green day. Let me bring this down for a second. Today, the average share, you know, volume is 526,000 shares. Today was 14 million shares traded. So probably up on some news or something. Who knows? But it's had like 3 green days. So, you know, it may be due for a pullback. And you can see, you know, has it had multiple green days before? It's had. But, you know, after a few green days, it has a red day. So I don't know if tomorrow's going to be the red day, but we shall see. All right. It's above, on the yearly, it's above the 50-day moving average. So, you know, the next, the simple 200 moving average is at 715. So we'll see what happens. All right. So those are my key 2 levels. We'll see what happens. And next up, ZN. ZN, you know, this is a dog shit stock that I've shorted a million times. It's up on, I think it was up on some PR news. And the reason why you get in this spike like this is it's just that short sellers are coming in and they're trying to short the stock. And what's happening is that every time they try to short the stock continues to go up. So they panic and they have to buy their shares back to cover, and it causes an artificial spike. Now, what we want to do, so you see I have my key support and resistance levels already set. So if it breaks above 485 and holds, then I take it long. That might happen pre-market tomorrow. I think this is going to be on everybody's list tomorrow, but we'll see. Now, the support level here is 427. So if it pulls back down and holds at 427, I might buy the dip. But if it breaks below it, I might short it. Okay, risking off that level. All right, and then if it gets to 380, all right, I might potentially buy it. But if it can't hold the 380 level, then I would short it. Okay, and that's all I do. Then the next key level here is this 326 level, and these are where the fibs are. This is the 38% retracement, 50 and 61%. Now, if you look at the yearly chart, let me just go back 1 year. Okay, this is a stock that in the past has had big green days. Look at this green day. This was on, was it July 7th last year? It went from 465 to 690 and hit a low of 449, closed at 588, and then the next day completely tanked. It opened at 605, hit a high 653, hit a low of 432. So, you know, it gives it back. So, you know, tomorrow we might see a squeeze, okay, and then it give it back. You know, the last time I had this big move, the next day it gave it all back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, but it has the ability to move. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Okay. All right. So those should be your clear support and resistance levels, just to show you again. All right, you know, you can always pause the video and mark them out yourself. All right, next ONKD. ONKD had this, you know, over 2 days ago was at 411, hit a high 531. It has retraced. Now the reason why I have this on my watch list, oh wait a minute, I didn't do anything with this stock. Oh wait a minute, let me go back. Let me make. That's weird. Oh, this is why this was on my watch list. You see, it has a gap to fill below 448, and you know it's low 467. And I was looking at it to potentially for an easy short. This is why I'm looking at it, because if it breaks this right here, this is the only, you know, it's bullshit support right here at this 469 level. So what I'll do is I'll put, let me look at this candle right here. Yeah, low here 467. So we're gonna put an alert to say, all right, so we're gonna create an alert. You're gonna say, all right, so we'll put potential dip buy at 467 if holds, or short the breakdown. What I think will happen, and I'm not sure, you know, nobody knows what a stock is gonna do, but I think, you know, if it can't hold this, look, it has a gap to fill down below. Next support level is 448, and you know this shit has no volume, so you can, you know, it might get all the way back down to 411 tomorrow. Who knows? This is really the only level that interests me. I don't think it's gonna do anything tomorrow. You can see, look, this is choppy dog shit. You know, this is not, you know, this is really choppy, but it's such a simple short. If it can't hold it, that that's why I put on my watch list. All right, next up, BW. BW is a stock that I've traded a million times. I've taken a million shorts on this stock. It usually gaps up and then it gives it all back. You know, it's kind of choppy, but to me, it's pretty simple. If it breaks above 658 and holds, I'll take it long. If it can't hold 628, I'll take it short. And you know, you got another support level here, 618. I didn't put an alert there. I should. But if it can't hold 618, you know, I think this stock will get back below $5. I think it will retrace back to this 586 level. I really do. So, you know, I could put another alert here. Let's just put another alert, just because I'm teaching you guys and I want you guys to be methodical. So technically, is a potential dip buy at 618 or short breakdown. So if you can't hold it, you know, and you're currently short because you shorted it here at 628, you can, you know, keep going. I think it gets down below $5 tomorrow. If we look at the yearly, you know, you always want to see what a stock tends to do. If you notice, it's at 3 green days. You do for a red day. You know, it's done this before. You see where it kind of like has this run. It gets around this key area. Which is you know, 650 right here. What's this high? 668. Next day, look at this. It went from 662 to 552. So a whole point and moved back. Do I think that's gonna happen tomorrow? I don't know. You know, I think that the probability that it gets it back is high though tomorrow. So it'd be a good short. And the stock is easy to borrow. You shouldn't have a problem shorting it. FOSL. FOSL, yeah, this fossil, I guess it must have had some news or something. I have no clue. Let's see. Fossil up, yeah, big earnings. So it beat earnings. All right, so that's why it's up. But do I think it's gonna hold it? Not sure. I mean, so I already set my support and resistance line. So if it breaks above 1806, I take it long. If it holds 1625, I buy the dip. If it can't hold it and you know it's around this area, I short it. But it looks like it's gonna fade before then. I think people are still trading this. Let's see. Oh no, doesn't look like anybody's trading it anymore. Looks like, oh, according to this, it's not. And then you know you have some other levels here. You have a key level here at 1497. So you can put, let's put another one here. We can put potential dip buy at 14 97. Or short breakdown. All right, so and then you can mark your others. I have another one here at 1351. So one of these key levels, it needs to be around in order for me to take the trade. That's the key, guys. You gotta have a plan. You gotta know where you're risking off of. Otherwise, you don't trade. Don't force a trade, because you're just gonna wind up losing your money. Now let's look at the yearly. If we look at the yearly, this is a stock that one time was at $23, and right now it had this monster green day considering the after hours gap. But what we want to see is that usually what happens is it'll have a run, then it gives a lot back. Has a run, then gives a lot back. So last time it had a big green day, it had a big red day the next day. Gave a lot of it back. Now I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow, but right now it filled the gap. This is the gap above. It actually filled it, so it got close to that gap fill high, and now it's starting to pull back a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. I think it gives a lot of it back personally tomorrow. I don't know. I didn't read the earnings report to know if it's worthy of a big run, but we'll see. All right, but I have my levels set, so if it breaks above 1306 and it can hold that level, I'll take it long. All right, and I don't even look at the news. I just basically play technicals. All right, next up, UA. UA was I think Under Armour. This is Under Armour, and it actually beat earnings. I think too had some good earnings, so it had this nice rip, and I've traded this a lot. This stock has a lot of volatility. Every time though it has a run, it always gives it back. I expect that it's gonna give it back tomorrow, but these are the levels that I'm looking to trade. So if it can break above 1565 and hold, I'll take it long. If it gets down to this 1477 level and it can't hold it, if it can hold it, I'll dip buy it. If it can't hold it, I'll short it. And the next level down below is 1413. So at this level, if it gets down here and holds, I'll potentially dip buy it. If not, if it breaks below it, I'll short it, and it can get all the way back down to 13. I don't think that's what's gonna happen tomorrow. I think it'll have some movement. Now, just so you know, I always say if it breaks above and holds, I take it low. Now, if it gets to 1565 and it gets rejected, I'll short it off this level too. And that goes for every stock that is at a resistance point. Okay, and this is another key area too. Like you can put another alert. You can put another alert here if you wanted to. I didn't do it, but you could, because these are areas where it can all get smacked by, and then you can take it short if you don't see that it can't break this resistance. All right, so these are also key levels as well. All right, next up, UAA. Okay, so here it's the high of 1710. His support, so that's resistance. If it breaks, remember, if it gets near there, it can't hold it, I'll short it. If it breaks above it and holds it, I'll take it long. If it gets back down to 1621 and holds it, I'll dip buy it. Otherwise, if it can't hold it, I'll reject it, I'll take it short. Now, in theory, I should have a trend line as well as here. The 16, is this 1695? Let me zoom in. Let me zoom in. Yeah, 1694 level. That's what it's 1694. Yeah, so I would be looking at 1694 as well. All right, so I would say, if it gets back to this level, I'm gonna create an alert to say, short rejection or buy the breakout if holds. Now, really, because 1694, I mean, in theory, you could take it here, but to me, the most comfortable is like the real breakout up here. But if it held 1694 and starts moving, it's more than likely gonna test that 1710 level and probably break. We'll see. We don't know what the Dow is gonna be like tomorrow. All right, so hopefully this makes sense. And I think this video is probably way longer than I wanted it to be, but I'm almost done. A couple of more stocks. I mean, I could have doubled this list. A lot of plays for tomorrow. VECO. The reason why I put, that's another thing too about UA. Let me go to the yearly. What I do expect though, guys, is that, and obviously I'm not a mind reader, but look at this. Look at the gap to fill below. I mean, that tells me that at some point this is gonna give back the gains. So maybe tomorrow it gives it all back. I'm not sure, but these gap fills, what you want to see is that, okay, did it actually gap before, and what happened when it gapped up? Did it fill it back? So like here, it had a gap up, it went on a run, pulled back, never got to it, but at some point it actually got what? Filled the gap below. So I expect, my anticipation that it's gonna fill the gap below. And if you look at the yearly, look at that. It got rejected by the simple 200 moving average. All right, 1563 is a simple 200 moving average. So I don't know. I don't know if the earnings is gonna be enough to move it. We'll see. We'll see. All right. All right. VECO. Okay. Now the reason why I put this on my watch list as well, because I think this had a gap fill when I saw it. Yeah. Now look, has a gap to fill below. So the gap to fill, the high here is what, 1525. The low here is 1580. So I mean, tomorrow, I bet you this is a stock. These are those stocks that I tell you that nobody watches, but they're easy plays. So because look at this. That price action is kind of choppy. It's not the most fun to trade. You want quick, volatile stocks that you can get in and out. But what I like about this stock is that, again, if it tests that 1835 level and if it can't break above it, I'll short it. If it breaks above it and holds, I'll take it long. But what I like, it's like it has this key support level 17, and look, it has a gap to fill below all these little gaps. If it can't hold 17, this is gonna be a great short tomorrow, and you can get 2 points tomorrow shorting this. And if I'm not mistaken, this is probably, look, easy to borrow, easy to borrow. So you're gonna say, one more, it's a $17 stock. Yeah, but let's say you have a couple of $1,000, like 5,000. If you could take 200 shares, that's a few $100s you can make. And I think tomorrow it breaks 17, and you can probably take a nice wash short in this, So we'll see. Next up, CHGG, Chegg is another stock, I think, that had this. Look at this, another gap fill below. So in my opinion, it at some point is gonna fill the gap. Maybe not tomorrow, but it's gonna fill the gap. Now this thing has been running freaking wild, like crazy, and the last time it did have this gap, it filled it, but it took about 2 weeks, but eventually it got back down and filled the gap, and then it continued up. I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Maybe it keeps running. If we look at the 1 year, this is the high on the yearly. Maybe over the last few years, it's probably, maybe it's traded at let me look at 5 years just to see. Over 5 years. Yeah, this may be the highest it's ever been. I would have to go back even further. I'm not gonna do that though. But what I'm looking to see is, the point is that I'm looking to see it if it breaks 1996 and holds, so it breaks above it. Definitely don't buy it on the breakout. You want to see it break and retrace and hold that level. All right, you don't want to chase, because you can get crushed if it just gaps up and then just completely tanks. What I want to see is it gonna hold this 1913 level right here? So, because if it doesn't, I would take a short on it. All right. Now, if it holds 1913, I'll take it long. All right. If it breaks down, I'll be looking to see if it could get back to this 1850 level, and if it can hold 1850, I'll take it long. But if it can't, look at this. This thing will freaking wash all the way. You probably get this probably go back down all the way back down to $16. So we'll see. So this is a nice play. You got some good setups here for tomorrow, guys. Next up, LPX. LPX is building. So I think all these building stocks, like because Trump wants to pass this, the infrastructure bill. If that really starts getting momentum, you're gonna see all the building stocks start to run. So let me go 1 year. And here are the key levels. So it's almost at, now look, I put a key list. So today the high was 3076. I put an alert at 3107 because I want to see it break above 3107 and hold. If it can hold 3107, I'll take it long. If it gets to that area and can't break it, then it'll be a good short. Okay. So let me see where we're at right now. So right now, I was at 3101. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. It also has a key support level here at 3028. So if it can't hold 3028, you take it short. If it holds 30.28, you can buy the dip. And if it breaks below 30.28, the next key support level is 29.91. So if it holds 29.91, you could take it by the dip. If not, you can short it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Finally, Twitter. Twitter is running. They have a price target on it for like $50. So this may continue to run. Right now the high is 33.65. It can break 33.65 and hold it. I would take it long. If it gets to that area and can't hold it, I short it. If it pulls back and holds 33.11, which seems to be a key support level, I would buy the dip. If it breaks below it, I would short it. Otherwise, the next key support level below that is 32.75. So if it gets to 32.75 and holds, I buy the dip. Otherwise, I take it short. All right, folks. So those are the stocks on my watch list. I'll post it on Twitter.